In 1940, the U.S. Army had fewer than 500 tanks. Its air force was smaller than Portugal's. But when the sleeping giant awoke, it did not just build an army. It built an avalanche of steel, aluminum, and gunpowder that would bury the Axis powers. Forget tactics. Forget strategy. The most powerful weapon America unleashed on the world was its factory floor. Today, we're counting down the 10 most produced American weapons of World War II. And the sheer scale of these numbers will absolutely stagger you. For this list, our primary ranking criterion is the sheer, mind-boggling production number. We're also considering the weapon's strategic impact and its ubiquity, how widespread its use was across all fronts and all Allied armies. This isn't just about what was built, but about how that industrial might translate it into victory. Before we begin, 2 honorable mentions. The iconic Thompson submachine gun. While famous, its complex design meant only about 1.5 million were produced, with the simpler M3 grease gun eventually taking its place, and the legendary Browning automatic rifle, or BAR. The cornerstone of the American Rifle Squad's firepower, around 400,000 of these formidable weapons were built. Both were crucial, but their numbers are dwarfed by the items on our main list. Kicking off our list at number 10 is the weapon that gave the infantrymen the power to kill a tank, the bazooka. This revolutionary American invention was a simple, cheap, and effective rocket launcher. Its importance was so obvious that it was immediately rushed into mass production. In total, over 476,000 bazookas were built and supplied not just to the U.S. Army and Marines, but to every major Allied power, becoming the foundation for modern infantry anti-tank tactics. At number 9, it's a titan of the skies, and the most produced American bomber of all time, the consolidated B-24 Liberator. While the B-17 gets more glory, the B-24 was produced in far greater numbers. Why? Its brilliant Davis wing design made it faster, gave it a longer range, and a larger bomb load than the Fortress. Famously, Henry Ford's Willow Run factory, at its peak, was churning out one complete B-24 every 63 minutes. Over 18,400 of these heavy bombers were built, serving as the workhorse of the strategic bombing campaign in every theater of the war. At number 8 is the battle taxi of the U.S. Army, the M3 half-track. This versatile vehicle was the key to American combined arms doctrine. It could carry a full 13-man rifle squad, protecting them from small arms fire and artillery, while keeping pace with the Sherman tanks. It was also adapted into countless variants: mortars, tank destroyers, command vehicles. Over 41,000 were produced, ensuring that the American Army was a truly mechanized force that could move and fight at high speed. At number 7 is the tank that became the symbol of American industrial might, the M4 Sherman. While often criticized for being outgunned by German heavy tanks, the Sherman's genius was not in its individual power, but in its design for mass production and reliability. American factories, like the Detroit Arsenal, produced Shermans at a rate the Axis could only dream of. In total, just over 49,000 Shermans were built, creating a tide of steel that simply overwhelmed the superior but far less numerous German panzers. At number 6, we have the weapon that won the war of logistics, the GMC 2.5-ton truck, the Deuce and a Half. General Patton's Third Army would have ground to a halt in France without it. This simple, rugged, go-anywhere truck was the absolute backbone of the Allied supply chain. From the deserts of Africa to the frozen roads of the Ardennes, it carried the beans, bullets, and gasoline that fueled the fight. America produced an incredible 562,000 of these workhorses, a logistical advantage the Germans simply could not match. Cracking our top 5 is an American legend, the M1911 pistol. Designed by the genius John Moses Browning, this .45 caliber semi-automatic was the standard issue sidearm for American officers, NCOs, and specialist troops. It was renowned for its incredible reliability and the sheer stopping power of its massive .45 ACP round. During World War II alone, American industry produced a staggering 1.9 million new M1911A1 pistols to meet the demand, ensuring this iconic weapon was present on every single battlefield. At number 4 is the vehicle Eisenhower called one of America's greatest contributions to modern warfare, the Jeep. This lightweight, four-wheel drive marvel could do literally everything. It was a scout car, a command vehicle, an ambulance, a machine gun platform, and a transport. Its simple design meant it could be easily repaired in the field and shipped in a crate. American factories produced nearly 650,000 Jeeps, making it the most ubiquitous vehicle of the war and a symbol of American can-do ingenuity recognized the world over. At number 3 is a weapon that is often overlooked, but its production numbers are simply astonishing. The M1 Carbine. The U.S. Army realized that troops in support roles needed something more effective than a pistol, but lighter and handier than a full-sized M1 Garand. The M1 Carbine was the perfect solution. This lightweight, 15-shot, semi-automatic carbine was produced in absolutely colossal numbers. With over 6.1 million units built, it was, by a huge margin, the most produced American small arm of the entire war. Coming in at number 2 is the weapon General Patton called the greatest battle implement ever devised. The U.S. rifle, caliber .30 M1, the Garand. While the M1 Carbine was produced in slightly greater numbers, the Garand takes the higher spot for its immense strategic impact as the standard-issue service rifle. It gave the American GI a firepower advantage over every other infantryman in the world. Factories like Springfield Armory and Winchester produced over 5.4 million of these war-winning rifles, ensuring the American soldier was the best equipped in the fight. And at number 1, it's not a gun, a tank, or a plane. It is the single thing that fed every one of them. The .50 Browning machine gun cartridge. This half-inch wide piece of brass and lead was the common denominator of American power. It was the round for the M2 Browning, the weapon that served as the heavy machine gun for infantry, the anti-aircraft gun for armor, the primary weapon for fighters like the P-51, and the defensive weapon for bombers like the B-17. American factories produced an amount of ammunition that is almost impossible to comprehend. For the .50 BMG alone, the number stands at over 12 billion rounds. That is not a typo. 12 billion. It was a river of steel that flowed from the heart of America to every corner of the globe. It was the physical manifestation of the arsenal of democracy, an industrial avalanche that no enemy could withstand. The numbers, as staggering as they are, tell a deeper story. They represent a fundamental strategic advantage that no German Tiger tank or Japanese Zero could ever overcome. While Axis war production was crippled by a lack of resources, political infighting, and the constant threat of Allied bombing, American industry, safe behind two oceans, could operate at maximum unthreatened capacity. This created a profound asymmetry on the battlefield. A German commander had to treat his Panther tank like an irreplaceable jewel. An American commander, however, knew that for every Sherman lost, 5 more were already on a ship crossing the Atlantic. This wasn't just a war of tactics. It was a brutal, grinding war of attrition. And it was a war that American industry was purpose-built to win. the 12 billion .50 caliber rounds, the millions of Garands, the tens of thousands of tanks and planes. They weren't just weapons. They were the physical manifestation of a national will, the hammer of the arsenal of democracy. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. If you enjoy these deep dives that break down the big picture of history, be sure to subscribe to Microdocs and hit the notification bell for our next analysis. Thank you for watching.